Hi everyone and welcome to GDPR for Beginners on Learning with GP, where GDPR is simplified. In our GDPR Beginner series, we covered the basics of GDPR. During this series, I quickly mentioned certain complex concepts and I promised you that I will discuss these concepts in detail later, as they absolutely require a proper sit-down. So these upcoming videos will be a deep dive into those and other concepts of GDPR. So subscribe to my channel and explore for more in-depth content. In case you are curious to learn about a topic, you can also let me know in the comments below. Today we will take a closer look at the Data Protection Impact Assessment. As a business owner, it's an absolutely important topic to understand, as you must be aware of the impact that personal data processing causes and what should you do to assess it. And in the end, we will take a little quiz to test what you have learned in this video. So without further ado, let's get right to understanding Data Protection Impact Assessment. What exactly is the purpose of Data Protection Impact Assessment, or DPIA? Why should you carry out a DPIA? DPIA can be used to investigate, recognize, and mitigate potential risks to data before launching a new business or a project. Before launching a new business or a project, wherever a type of processing, in particular using new technologies. For example, you are automating certain processes, building a customized infrastructure or software for specific purposes is carried out. Then in this case, the nature, scope, context, and purpose of the processing should be taken in account to determine whether or not it's likely to result in a high risk to the rights and freedoms of natural persons. Who should carry out a DPIA? That would be our data controller. How is data controller going to achieve this? Data controller shall alone or jointly with the advice of data protection officer where designated will carry out data protection impact assessment. And what exactly are they going to do? They are going to assess the impact of the envisaged processing operations. The controller shall, prior to the processing, carry out an assessment of the impact of the envisaged processing operations on the protection of personal data. A single assessment may address a set of similar processing operations that present similar high risks on the protection of personal data. Now that we know why, who, how, and what is going to be done in a DPIA, let's try to understand what are the benefits of conducting such an assessment before launching a new business or project. The benefits of DPIA include: first, you can better understand the data protection risks that will be faced during the project. Second, you can calculate the method to decrease or completely remove those risks. Third, you can decide if the benefits of the project outweigh data protection risks. Fourth, you can prepare an informed statement that will disclose the risks to any individuals who will be affected. And finally, you can document data protection measures to demonstrate GDPR compliance to supervisory authorities. Now let's take a look at the special scenarios in which a data protection impact assessment is definitely carried out. Case 1 includes when a systematic and extensive evaluation of personal aspects relating to natural person is done. This could be done based on automated processing, including profiling, and the decisions of which produce legal effects on the natural person or in the same way significantly affect the natural person. Case 2 includes when the processing of large scale of special categories of data mentioned in Article 9(1) or of personal data relating to criminal convictions and offences mentioned in Article 10 is carried out. and in case 3, when a systematic monitoring of a publicly accessible area is carried out on a large scale. Now that we know when the assessment is most likely to occur, let's talk about the main elements of the assessment. The assessment shall contain at least a systematic description of the envisaged processing operations and the purposes of the processing. It should include where will it be applicable and the legitimate interest pursued by the controller. The next thing that should be present is an assessment of the necessity and proportionality of the processing operations in relation to the purposes. This is followed by an assessment of the risks to the rights and freedom of data subjects as we discussed in the beginning. And finally, it should have the measures envisaged to address the risks, including safeguards, security measures, and mechanisms to make sure that the personal data will be protected. Along with that, it should also demonstrate compliance with this regulation, taking into account the rights and legitimate interests of data subjects and other persons concerned. Let's take a look at what are the duties of the controller in this case. Firstly, the controller will have to seek the views of data subjects or their representatives on the intended processing. There should be no prejudice to the protection of commercial or public interests or the security of processing operations. And then, wherever necessary, the controller will have to carry out a review to check if the processing is performed in accordance with the data protection impact assessment, and at least when there is a chance of the risk represented by processing operations. Frankly speaking, there could be a lot of situations that may require you to perform DPIA throughout the journey of complying with GDPR. However, my recommendation will be that whenever in doubt, do perform a DPIA. If you are wondering about how to conduct a DPIA, worry no more. We will make a separate video on it, which will walk you through it step by step. So don't forget to subscribe. And with this, we are finally finished with our video on understanding the Data Protection Impact Assessment, or DPIA. And this brings us to quiz time. So let's put to test the knowledge we have gained from this video. In this section, you will be shown a couple of simple questions based on the topics that we have covered so far. The questions will have 4 alternatives and 1 correct alternative. Feel free to take your time or go back to the lesson and find the correct answer. You can write the answer in the comment section below. I will make sure to get your answers. I hope you got all the answers to the quiz correct. In the next video, we will simplify other complex topics of GDPR. If you have something on your mind that you find difficult to understand, do let me know in the comments below. I really appreciate any suggestions from you guys, as it helps me direct my lessons as best suited to your needs. And of course, in the end of the video, as always, we will do a little quiz. So stay tuned for more videos. Do subscribe to my channel, Learning with GP, where GDPR is simplified. And with that, I thank you for putting your best foot forward towards understanding GDPR. If you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to me at gunjan.gdpr@gmail.com. So see you later. Bye.